Hello and good Thursday morning, everybody. It's April 17th, and I'm Chris Allen here on your little Friday. Well, I haven't brought that out in a while. Oh, well, thought I would let you know that I haven't forgotten. This is 270 weather for the 270 area code and beyond. We've got clouds this morning, and in some cases, even the radar trying to show some shower activity. It's not a lot. And even though the radar is showing that there are returns, a lot of that's not hitting the ground in most cases. There are the clouds that we're seeing this morning from the live Plano cam here in Plano outside of Bowling Green. And everything is just mainly cloudy. This is that weak upper level energy I was telling you about yesterday. And if you were watching me last night on News 40, I was telling you that this little upper wave would pass and it might produce some sprinkles or maybe a brief little light rain shower, but nothing more than that because the atmosphere is, well, we've got some moisture above us, but near the ground, it's pretty dry. All you have to do is check dew points to know that. So, whatever we see this morning is not going to be that big of a deal. If even that, most of you will go through the day without any raindrops at all. But then some of you will get out to your vehicle and look at your car and go, looks like it may have just sprinkled or, maybe just a little brief shower, but it's nothing more than that. That's all. All right. Here's a look at the numbers from yesterday. We had a high of 70, but that was only 1 degree shy of the normal of 71. And the low temperature was 42. No precipitation past 24 hours. There's a look at the radar, and you can see that there's that little bit of activity. Put this into motion. This is the weak upper wave that is sliding through. And, there's a few places that some of this might be reaching the ground, like up toward Owensboro, maybe, let's say Hartford, Beaver Dam, in that area. Yeah, you could be seeing something. Down around Bowling Green here, sprinkle. But again, dew points are very dry, and that's the number we look at to measure how much moisture is in the air. And when those numbers are much lower than the air temperature, that usually means it is very dry air near the ground. But just above us, there's a little bit of moisture that the radar beam, when it goes up, it goes up at an angle. And when that radar beam hits the raindrops, then this is what you see. But it's not always ground truth, if you will. So I think that's pretty much what's happening. Like I said, some of you will get a few raindrops this morning. And I think by afternoon, a lot of it is just going to be gone. All right, here's a look at the Kentucky Mesonet, and I'll show you what I mean. Here's a look at temperatures, eastern part of the state, where there's much higher elevation. You get, of course, the colder air, 30s, 40s, but it's upper 40s and low 50s to the west, even mid 50s in far western Kentucky. So this is evidence of some of the cloud cover that we're seeing this morning and making temperatures just a little bit cooler, obscuring the sun. But you see the temperatures here, and you know, 45, 46, it went away. Where'd it go? There we go. 47, 48. So let's look at dew points, the amount of moisture in the air. So with 47, As a temperature, the dew points are upper 30s to low 40s. Well, that's a bit of a spread between the actual air temperature and the dew point. So that means relative humidity, if you factor all that in, a percentage, it's 80, right at 88%. So there's enough of a spread here, and you see the drier air back to the west. Look at those low 30, mid 30 dew points. Yeah, it's just there's not a lot of support near the surface for actual rain. Even though the radar shows that there's rain, a lot of that is evaporating before it even reaches the ground. So that's what we're seeing this morning. The winds are light and variable again. To the east, you've got winds coming more easterly, and to the west, more southeasterly at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. A bit of a breeze as you head into western Kentucky. But the winds, I do think, are going to pick up later today and from the south at 15 to 20. And we could have some breezier conditions later today, 25 to maybe even 30 miles per hour. The winds are going to be a big deal the next couple of days, really, because we've got a series of systems coming in, one in particular that looks like it's going to, produce some shower and thunderstorm activity. I think what we see today is not going to be that big of a deal. Not even calling for thunderstorms here. It is going to be more of a quiet day. And then once the winds start to move in ahead of a warm front, that's when it becomes windy. That's when it's going to become much warmer. Tomorrow we're talking about 80, maybe even higher than 80. As that warm front comes in, the storm I'm talking about is back here in places like Missouri, parts of Missouri, Sedalia, Springfield, north of Joplin. Look at all that cluster of lightning that's going on there, southwest of Jefferson City. So that's the system that's going to be here later tomorrow. Here's a look at the high resolution clouds. You've got some sun to the eastern, central, and eastern parts of Kentucky, while we're seeing the clouds as that little weak upper wave slips by. But again, it's weak. There's not much going on there. That's why I say our rain chances are not all that fantastic. But as we get into the weekend, and I know it's Easter weekend, everybody, is wanting to make some plans. Let me help you out here. Here's a look at the severe weather threat for today. It's going to be up there where I was just showing you parts of Missouri, Iowa, Illinois. That's where the severe weather is going to be. Nothing going on for us today. Here's a look at Friday. It gets a little closer. Now, this is the cold front that's coming in, the bigger system, but we're not talking about something that's going to be that impactful, comparatively speaking, to what we've had recently. This is not a system that's going to get locked up here. It's going to slow down, but it's not going to get locked up like the one a week and a half ago that just sat here and rained and rained and rained. It's not going to do that. It's going to be close enough to maybe produce some occasional showers. I'll put it that way. But it's not going to be a washout. And we're not talking about flooding or anything like that. There will be a severe weather component tomorrow as we get a little more instability right along the Ohio River. That's where there's a level 1 marginal risk. But then you go up towards St. Louis, central Illinois, Indianapolis, central Indiana, northern Indiana. That's a level 2 slight risk for tomorrow afternoon and evening. It's not a guarantee here at all. but it gives some indication of what's coming. Now, you know that we've had that yellow stripe on Saturday for the last couple of days, but here is the latest on Saturday. And as expected, if you'll recall, I was talking about that front kind of wobbling a bit. And it's that wobble, that push as it flexes to the north a little bit more. I said, if we could just get that to go a little bit further north, I think we're going to stay out of the main area of instability and issues with severe weather on Saturday. And now we're there. And this is the more detailed look with the level 2 back in the Boot Hill of Missouri and parts of Arkansas. That's where the rough weather is going to be pretty much all weekend. We're just going to get a glancing outer limits kind of blow, if you will. Uh, level 1, as you can see, again, right along the Ohio River, but for much of southern Kentucky, middle Tennessee, your general thunderstorms, your garden variety stuff, because now the severe weather threat has been pushed a little bit further north. So that's some good news. Um, I still think there's going to be some shower activity that we're going to have to maybe watch on Sunday, but you see the threat of severe weather. Easter Sunday is going to be, again, back to the west. That's where uh, the severe weather area has shifted, where it was over us for a couple of weeks and it just rained over and over, severe weather threat over and over. All of that now is going to be shifted further west, at least for the time being. So hopefully that's good news for everybody, especially for those of you trying to, plan something for Easter Sunday. I don't think we're going to find it being difficult to, do something outdoors if you want to, but I still think you're going to have to maybe, dodge a shower or even a thunderstorm. And here's why. Let me set this up for you through the maps. Here comes that little system, that little weak upper wave that is coming through right now. And again, not everything you see here is going to hit the ground because it's so dry near the surface. It's the lift of that warm front, which is just kind of barely there, but you can see the tight lines here. So that's where the winds begin to pick up later this afternoon. Here we go into this evening. Yeah, you see there, it's just a little something, but not much. And not everybody painted in the green is going to get rained on today. So we go into tonight, early tomorrow, the winds, look at that. Winds really pick up from the south and west. Overnight, it's going to be breezy. Tomorrow is going to be breezy. Here comes the next system. And as we get into Friday morning, nothing going on. I think tomorrow pretty much is going to be a warm and windy day. Warm and windy, but not wet, because then we'll be under this warm sector where, yeah, there's moisture being pumped in out of the Gulf, but there's nothing really, there's enough warm air to cap off thunderstorm development. And things are just kind of coming together for the weekend. So here we go. This is Friday night. This is when we'll begin to see some of those maybe scattered showers, a few thunderstorms, but notice the red zone area is back here into Oklahoma, Texas. Then it moves into Arkansas and Missouri as this front will start to slow down. But it's not going to get hung up. Don't worry. It's not going to get hung up. We're not going to see flooding rains here, like we're still trying to get rid of some of these new ponds and lakes that are sitting around the area. They are slowly beginning to recede. The water tables are starting to trickle just a little more. It's still going to take some time for those areas worst with the worst of the floods. Still going to take some time, but now the flooding threat becomes this area further west, especially Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, even. That's going to become the focus, along with the severe weather threat. Here's tonight, and then here's tomorrow morning. Still, just we're just kind of on the edge of the rain as the front, as you can see, starts to stall. Now, I used a term yesterday, and somebody asked me, "What do you mean by that?" Quasi stationary. It means sort of quasi. It's not quite there. It's not quite stationary. It's not moving either very much. It's quasi stationary. It's just another term for almost, almost stationary. I know I should have just said almost instead of quasi, but if you ever hear that term, that's what it means. So here's tomorrow morning. Here's Sunday morning. This is Easter Sunday morning, 7 a.m. I mean, with the front wobbling north, this is the good part, though, that it's pushed the heavier stuff away from us, west and north of us. But for those of you that are trying to do or wanting to do an Easter sunrise service, it may or may not be raining, but there is a chance that there could be some showers at sunrise on Sunday. Okay, I just want you to note that just in case. Here is 7 a.m. Monday, still in the quadrant of showers here, but nothing really heavy. Now, Sunday night into Monday morning, there will be a few showers, maybe a thunderstorm, as the cold front then is no longer quasi stationary. It gets a forward push by the high pressure that's behind it. And then we start to see the front move, except it's going to move south and start to get lazy once again, as you see. Now we get a break from the rain on Tuesday, but then it kind of returns on Wednesday because the front, then being just to the south, has that moisture associated with it. And then here comes another front that's going to catch up with this. And it's just a kind of a rinse and repeat pattern that we're going to see for, I think, a lot of next week. Okay. So that is, in a sense, what we're looking at. Not a washout, not a washout for Easter or the entire Easter weekend, but there will be chances that you could get rained on. If you live in the 270 or the 364 or the 606 or the 502 or the 615, you're going to get a chance of seeing a shower. So if you're one of those that's planning like Easter, you want to do an Easter sunrise service, you may want to have a plan B, as I said the other day, just in case. Just in case, you may want to have a tent to protect everybody from getting a shower, or you may do that and it may not even rain on you. It's one of those things where it's just kind of a tough call, exactly who's going to get what, as far as, is it going to rain, is it not going to rain? There's a chance. Okay, so I'm saying there's a chance. Yeah. Here's a look at the blender. We go 72 to 74. I think the clouds may keep it closer to 72 than 74 today, but I mean, it's only a couple of degrees difference. Tomorrow, with that warm front, the winds, I think we're going to go 80, 81, very windy tomorrow and Saturday. Now, Saturday is the day when there's going to be that strip, that little stripe of stronger storms, but now it's been pushed a little further north, so that's good. But 82, 83, yeah, I think so. 82 maybe Sunday for Easter. Hmm, it depends on, like I said yesterday, if you were watching, if we're north of that quasi almost stationary front, if we're north of the front, that temperature you see for Sunday is going to be more like 78, 79. But if we're underneath the front or south of the front, then it will be more like 81, 82. So Sunday, you could have a couple of different scenarios as to the chance of rain and the actual temperature. Then on Monday, we see mostly morning showers, a little cooler, 75. And then you see 70s and 80s all next week into next weekend. Gonna be it's gonna be a nice almost May like temperature regime. All of that is going to be more like May instead of April, but we're almost to May. So yeah, here's a look at the 7 day forecast as I put it up last night on WNKY.com, the News 40 weather app, and on TV. 72 today, as I mentioned, it might go a couple of degrees warmer with that very slight chance that you get a raindrop today. And it would be happening in the next little bit. It's 7:38 right now. This is live at 7:38. So I think anywhere between the next couple of hours to midday, somebody's going to get some little raindrops. And that's about it. Then it's out of here. And then back to sunshine later this afternoon, or partly to mostly sunny. Then tomorrow, windy and warm for your Good Friday. Tomorrow is Good Friday. And we're going to soar to near 80. Now, I've put in a little chance of rain there, but that's for tomorrow night. Then Saturday, scattered showers, thunderstorms possible, 82. That's because of that boundary that tries to stall. Sunday, Easter Sunday, 78 with that chance of showers. There could be some Sunday morning, but the better chance, I think, is coming Sunday night into Monday morning. And that's going to cool us down because then the front starts to make a little forward movement on Monday. Showers left over around 70, then mid 70s Tuesday and Wednesday. And because the front goes south, stalls in the Tennessee Valley, and another cold front comes in, catches up with it. There's going to be some moisture there to touch off some showers for the middle of next week. And speaking of the middle of next week, see at the end of that 7 day period is Wednesday. Well, Wednesday is April 23rd, and it's the beginning of the 26th annual Herb Festival here in Bowling Green. It's going to take place for 12 straight days, every day, even weekends, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And it ends on May 3rd, Derby Day. And it's going to be located at 901 Lehman Avenue. That's where the Wild Bird and Nature Store is located in that little strip mall there. Used to be a car dealership years ago. But if you go on Lehman Avenue, you'll see a big tent that's going to be set up next Wednesday. You'll be able to go and just check out a incredible, incredible assortment of herbs, plants, perennials, heirlooms, bird feeders, bird baths, bird everything. Wild Bird and Nature Store. Feeds, seeds, all this stuff. Uh, and the plant lady will be there, Yvonne, along with Jerry and Jeffy. They run the Wild Bird and Nature Store. And so throughout those 12 days, Kentucky grown plants, flowers, you name it. If it grows out of the ground, it's there. So it's going to be a big deal. This is the time of year when everybody's thinking about planting something, and it may go from you want to do some landscaping and do some flowering plants and things like that, or you want to do some stuff inside your home that's going to be where it doesn't have to be outside. You can do some of this inside, or you're a bird watcher. You just want to set things up to watch the birds. It's all there. April 23rd, next Wednesday through Saturday, May 3rd, 6 or 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily for 12 days at 901 Lehman Avenue, rain or shine. It's going to be there all under the big tent. All right. Well, there's your weather for today in the 270. And I'll have an update on all this coming up tonight on News 40 at 5, 6, and 10, and on the News 40 weather app. In the meantime, have a great Thursday. God bless you. Thanks for watching.